Hello, this is Robert Smith. I'm in Crete. Actually, I'm in a palace in ruins, an old palace that doesn't exist anymore, but there are some things that remain. There's a couple of things I want to address, and that is called memories. Memories are a synthetic process. That means memories are not real. Memories are created by those who produce it. We're talking about people ask me and say, well, you know, I'd like to improve my memory. How does memories work? Why do we seemingly lose memory, and why do memories show up? And how to improve your memory. You know, one of the things I do is I help children cheat on spelling tests. And you know, of course, when I was a kid, I'd write it on my hand, and then when no one's looking, I'd look at my hand. And of course, you can always get caught. But the way I show children how to cheat, they never get caught. And basically, it's very simple. It's operating within the mind system. Now, the mind has images, sensations, sounds, and pictures, same as images. And so one thing as I do is I help children who hadn't figured it out. You know, all good spellers do something correctly, and one, they have pictures of the image in their mind. When I was in Wichita, Kansas, I was helping this young boy, and he had a lot of anxiety and stuff, and you can see that this boy was talking about stuff and stories and seeing all kinds of things inside of his mind. And so his mother said, well, can you help him on a spelling test? I said, sure. It's very simple. I asked him, I said, do you have a spelling word that you need to spell? He said, yes, orange. I said, spell it. He couldn't spell it. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper. Now I said, what I want you to do is take a deep breath, close your eyes, and in your mind, see the chalkboard in your mind. Can you see one? He said, yes, of course. I said, now look at this chalkboard. Now I want you to open your eyes and write this word orange on your chalkboard and double check, make sure it matches. And so write orange in your mind on the chalkboard. And then he said, you got it right? He said, yes. I said, okay, now what I'd like for you to do is spell orange completely backwards. Look at the picture. And his mother was shocked. He couldn't spell it forwards. How in the world could he spell it backwards? Because see, this is how the mind works. The mind is a photo machine. It'll Google information, your information, whatever you store inside you. It works so dynamic, and that's why you think about it. Here it is, you and I are talking, and all of a sudden I may say something about a puppy dog, and all of a sudden you have flashes of memories. I mean, full-blown memories, good or bad. And when you have those memories, they're full of emotion, full of sensations, and it was just pushed just like that fast. And so the mind has an amazing ability to produce things. You just think about it. You can be upset, you can be happy, you can be sad just by the flick of a thought. And so what we want to do is use our mind in a good way. A lady said, you know, my memory's just going to hell, falling apart. I can't remember things. I said, but she said, you know, I used to have a really great memory back when I was working. I said, you know why? The difference is when you were working, you were using your memory. When you practice your memory, when you practice remembering things, you remember. But if you practice to forget, it's easy to forget and complain about your memory. You have to remember to forget to remember, which is very simple. This guy said, you know, people give me information and I just don't remember it. I said, well, how do you remember not to remember it? She said, I don't know. I said, I want you to remember this. And you know what he did? He had a glazed look over his face. He doesn't have a system within himself to remember. And so what we want to do is use skills, create internal processes. One of the guys that actually President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, they said he had a mind of an elephant because once you met him, he always remembered your name, even if it was years later. And this is what he did. When he introduced himself to you, what he would do is he would say your name 3 times, and he would visually write the name on your forehead. So he would say your name several times, feel his finger writing it on your forehead, and every time he sees you, guess what he sees? That's right, your name. And he can hear it very easily. This is a skill, just like driving a car. You know, the first time when you start trying to learn how to drive, it's very difficult. Learning how to type on the typewriter, I remember that was such a big thing. It was so difficult. Now I don't even think about how to do it. Memory is a muscle. So what we want to do is use our ability to improve our muscle. The more you use it, the better you are. It's just like those people who live to be over 100, the centenarians. They live to be over 100 because they use their mind. So use your mind. Practice creating memory. So what we want to do is develop this skill. Now here's another amazing thing about memories too, and I know you've done this. You're driving down the street and a song plays on the radio and pops in a memory, good or bad. Now why does that happen? The reason is because you have it stored within your database. Now you don't consciously put it there, some people do, in your database, and all of a sudden the right combination is turned and all of a sudden pop out the memory. That means you feel something, good or bad, because the mind has its association system inside. But what we can do is create our own. And there are many ways to create your own system. Word associations, write on your notepad, and just practice. The more you practice anything, the better you get. That includes the bad memories too. If you keep the bad ones handy, keep them close, keep looking at them, rehearsing them, then you see them, you feel them, and you get better at it. That's why in some of the other videos I said, hey, change your story. Make it a good story. Change how you see things. Memory is a muscle. The more you use it, the better you get. The more you practice feeling bad, the better you get at feeling bad. The more you keep holding on to things, the better you get. The more you practice your memory, the more you rehearse. That's why I always tell my clients, and I'll tell you too, guys, get you a journal. And in this journal, write every good experience you can ever think about. Every good experience you've ever had. Matter of fact, I'd go make some new ones. Write it down. When your children or somebody says something nice, write it down, because there's going to be a time you want to feel good. Grab your journal, go back and remember. Your body starts to create those feelings. So memory is a muscle. Basically, you have you or your children to imagine there's a chalkboard, and they can write it any way they want, any color, any size, and always, just have them practice this. Now the deal is, most teachers who teach elementary schools, they don't know this stuff. I've even had teachers that's been teaching school, and I said, well, I didn't know that. And they say, hey, go memorize this, and you have to figure out how to do it. Those great spellers do it visually and kinesthetically. That means they feel good when they got it right. That's the big difference. All right, this is Robert Smith. I'm here at this palace. It's in ruins, of course. It's kind of cool, but hopefully I can get to do some videos on by the sea. So what is memory? Memory is a muscle. It's something you use. If you don't use it, you lose it, parts of it, and it's a skill. Take full control and love yourself. Be nice, practice good things, and help other people. This is Robert Smith. I'll talk to you later. Have fun. I may let you pan around. There's not a whole lot here to look at where I'm standing at, because there's so many people up there. It's kind of noisy. So use your memory for good. Create good memories. And this is the deal too, guys. This is the deal too. Your mind cannot tell the difference if it's real or not. When it's in your mind, it feels as if it were real. The mind cannot tell the difference if it's real or made up. So start making up good ones. Make it real for you. This is Robert Smith. Take control of your mind. It's yours. It's your gift. Use it for good. Talk to you later. Bye.